30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. If you were to go outside right now and you hear the roar of the crowd, it is what you think it is. The Miami Dolphins have scored again.
And Ryan Tannehill has been sacked again.
Oh, my God. Okay, so we're forced, not by anything, to begin the show, given that it's football season, with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is absolutely possible. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, joins us. Terry, let's do what we do every week, the obligatory injury question right off the bat.
Well, the good news is that Sean Murphy-Bunting, who left the game to be evaluated for a concussion at the end of yesterday, does not have a concussion, did not have to go into the concussion protocol. A couple of guys on special teams got dinged up a little bit. Julius Chestnut and Mike Brown both had leg injuries. Mike Brown in a walking boot, according to some of the reporters that were there, and Julius Chestnut, I believe, with an ankle that got rolled up on.
Terry, were you surprised? There came a point at 27-3, and I don't know the exact time, where Ryan Tannehill went back out to get beat up some more. I was shocked at that. Yeah,
I mean, they put Malik Willis in at the very end, just kind of to run out the clock. But Tannehill certainly took a beating. I was a little surprised that they left him in that long. It's a situation where the offense just couldn't get anything going at all yesterday, and that is, something that's been a problem for a while, but never to this magnitude like it was yesterday.
Yeah, 94 yards of total offense. So, Terry, obviously they've got offensive line issues, even if these two were able to play. Let's start with Peter Skoronski. What's the prognosis?
Well, Vrabel said he might have a chance to get back this week, but didn't offer any guarantees. If he does come back, I think this is just me talking, I think they have to seriously consider giving him a look at left tackle, because Andre Dillard just got the floor mopped with him yesterday.
Yeah, that was a kind way to say it. Nicholas Petit-Friere, and I hope I said that right. What's he got? 3 more weeks?
3 more weeks, but he is allowed back in the building starting
big
today.
help.
So he's allowed to start working out with the team again. He just can't practice or just can't go to games.
Yeah. You warned us of this all along. You told us as early as August 1, that they had offensive line issues and that they were big issues. Should they have done more in the offseason to fix this issue?
Looking back on it, I would have to say yes, because when you're talking about the way this team operates, the offensive line is critical. The guys that they signed, most of them have been backups, or in Skoronski's case, a rookie. And you're talking about guys who hadn't had a lot of work over the last year or two. And so now this group has not really gelled, and their struggles are showing up big.
Yeah. Anything else you want to leave us with?
No, that's about it. You talked about the Dolphins scoring 70. Over the last 5 games, the Titans have scored 71, George.
Yeah, and their yards, I think they put up 724 yards in that one. The Titans have not done that all year combined.
What if you were out in Vegas and you bet the under in that game?
You got out early.
Yeah, it's over. National anthems played. We lost. Jerry, I don't know what to say other than you have a job to do, and God help you.
All right. Thanks, George.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, his daily Titans update brought to you by the folks at Lori Burnett Leland, actually brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is absolutely possible. Dial her up, 615-969-4350. Trust me, when we get into Watson Brown's Titans analysis, if you're looking for positivity, this won't be your show.
Kelly's going to be
messed up, George.
Oh, how are we?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Good. You go to Troy?
You know it. Troy, Alabama, baby.
Yeah. Big win.
Yeah, it did have a big win against Western. Western struggles defensively, but they do so much. Like they bring so many guys that if you're not protected, which we're kind of like the Titans right now, we have a hard time protecting the quarterback. And when people start bringing guys, if you're not honed up on your protections and knowing who the back's got, and if tight end's got a chip or something like that, you get the quarterback hit a bunch. And we were the guys were going. The running back was going in. We were going. Troy was going to go up by 17, and he fumbles the ball into the end zone. And they get it, bring it out to the 20. Then they go 80 yards and score. So what should have been a 17-point win became a 3-point nail biter.
Ooh.
It's crazy. Yeah.
By the way, in case any of you are wondering, Notre Dame still has 10 men on the field.
You know what bothers me about that? And I'm going to ask Watson about it too. Is they're at the end of the game on the last drive. I can't. Defensive coordinators bother me so bad because I've been in so many games, and I know one of them was our head coach when I was in Cleveland. But the other night, when you rush three guys, you're not going to get to the quarterback, and he's going to be able to sit back there, and you cannot cover those guys for. And I told my family, because we were in Troy and we were all in the room, and I said, I guarantee you, Ohio State's going to score right here. I guarantee it, because when you rush three guys, you're just asked, like, the quarterback can sit back there and hold it as long as he wants to. And it's amazing to me, like, how are you? It happens that way on Hail Marys too, George. Like, why are you giving the quarterback time enough to throw the ball down the field? If he gets the ball off and he throws it, then they've got a chance to win. Why don't you just go sack him? He don't have enough time.
Here's what's sad about the way that ended. Notre Dame deserved to win.
Absolutely, they did. They played well enough to win.
They did play well enough to win. I feel bad for their players. I do not feel bad for their coaching staff. Okay.
No.
You've got a head coach. Yeah, you got a head coach. You've got 36 assistants and analysts. There's not one of them. First of all, help me with this. Was there not a timeout taken before the final play?
No, there was not. And that's another thing I was going to tell you.
Yeah, they did not.
Sorry, Billy. Go ahead.
No, you're good. They did not take it because they didn't want to give Ohio State time. Is that it, Kelly? They didn't want.
Well, here's the situation. Okay, they had 11 seconds. Okay, they had 11 seconds. So the kid sprinted out and he threw an incomplete pass, and it took 8 seconds off the clock, I believe, because he didn't throw it on time.
Right.
He kind of ran out, and then I told my family, I'm sitting there watching. I said, this is the last play of the game, whether they roll out or not. So what gives you the best opportunity to win is to run the football. Like, the clock's going to run out anyway, even if you sprint out. So, like, you should have called a timeout if you're Marcus Freeman and said, they're going to run the football. And if they pass the football, it's on me, but they're going to run the football. Did you see how lax they were on defense? Like, there was nobody on the left side. There were two guys that were standing 3 yards off the ball. That was it.
I've got an overhead picture, and we'll get into that. Because we got a lot of NFL injury stuff.
That's straight coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just felt like they kind of froze up, and
it's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame.
Because they gave great effort, and I have no doubt that he's a very good motivator.
Yeah.
But on the field, listen, that's bull.
Yeah.
And I can't use the rest of
You
it.
can't finish that phrase.
No, I really can't. Not if we're going to do a show tomorrow.
We ready for some NFL injury notes?
Sure, why
We've got
not?
loads of that to get into. Well, first off, we got 2 games tonight.
Yes.
I think is this the last of the doubleheaders on Monday night?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure how many people are fans of that, but 6:15 Eagles at the Buccaneers. A couple of 2-0 teams. Can Mayfield stay hot? And then 7:15 Rams at the Bengals. Barring any setbacks, Joe Burrow will play tonight, according to Kelsey Conway. He's pushing his coaching staff and trainers to play, knowing that an 0-3 start could doom the Bengals season.
Let me tell you something. They better get him healthy. I don't think they can win tonight without him, and they would go to 0-3. But Kelly, if this continues the way it feels like it's going to,
it's going to continue because a calf injury is one of those nagging deals. If you don't rest it enough and you don't get it fully healed, he did it in the last game. I mean, he came back and he played in the first game, but last game he aggravated again. It's going to be a recurring theme if they don't get it totally well. So I don't know. It's like one of those hamstring deals.
Well, it's probably good for the Titans. They are favored by 1.5 over the Bengals on Sunday in Nashville. I guess that revolves around Burrow, right? And the home field advantage, for the Titans.
I would think. First of all, I'm surprised they put out a line on it, given Burrow's uncertainty. But anyway.
That is what that is. Last night, Steelers beat the Raiders in Vegas. And I want to get to this. Trailing by 8 and facing 4th and 4 at the Steelers' 8-yard line with about 2:25 to play, Raiders coach Josh McDaniels sent out his field goal team. Less than a minute earlier, Carlson made a 48-yarder, only for it to be negated by a Steelers penalty. That put the Raiders closer to the end zone. So even after they kicked that field goal, they still needed a touchdown. But McDaniels said after the game, you have 2 choices there. You try to make it a 5-point game with the field goal, where you have an opportunity to win it with the touchdown if you get the ball back, or you try to go for it there. And then if you happen to convert, you've got to make the 2-point conversion. But I did not. These analytics have infiltrated the NFL unlike any other. I didn't understand that.
I was totally confused on that. Like, you've been struggling to move the ball all day. You got down there the last time you scored, and then your offense is clicking a little bit. You're getting into a little bit of rhythm, and then you're going to kick a field goal. Well, like if it's a 6-point game, yeah, you kick a field goal because if we go back to time, we have to kick another field goal. But like, what makes you think you're going to get back down there again? Like, you're already down there. Let's try to score. And then, hey, we got to put the chips, let them fall where they may, and try to get a 2-point conversion. Didn't understand that at all.
Was Hunter Renfrow in the witness protection program last night?
He's done nothing all season.
This is a guy that's a proven NFL slot guy. What are they doing?
He has just evaporated, and I don't know if it's on them or on him, but I don't know. It's been really weird. That's been one of the stranger things this year.
Here's what is becoming a trend. Josh McDaniels bombed in Denver, and he's starting to bomb in Vegas.
And also, their quarterback.
Which assistant coach has come from the Belichick tree that's done well?
None.
Do we know of any?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah, who's the guy with the Lions last year? Who was?
Oh, Matt Patricia.
Matt
Patricia. Had a pencil in his ear.
Yes.
That's a good look.
On top of it, for McDaniels, he's got his quarterback in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So Garoppolo is in.
He got bent back on that play.
Yeah, that was tough.
And man, I was worried when I saw that. I was like, ugh.
Well, another thing that worries you this morning, alarming situation for the Steelers. Their charter plane was diverted to Kansas City this morning, according to the team. They said everyone is safe and they're expected to arrive back in Pittsburgh this afternoon, but you don't see that too often where they had had a safety precaution there. So I think
we had it once on a Titans preseason game. And I was too stupid to understand what exactly it meant when they foamed the runway. I called my dad later. I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "It means you wouldn't have enjoyed it."
Good. Did they foam the runway, George?
Yeah. We
wow.
I want to say, I don't remember if we were in Detroit or in Minnesota coming home, and we had a little stop off in Chicago. And when they foamed the runway, I was like,
uh-oh.
And then I go into kind of the death grip, where I don't want
that means
anybody talking.
Yeah, that means something's going on with the landing gear, does it not?
Yeah, let's not go too far with this. It just makes my deodorant not work.
Another injury note, according to Ian Rappaport, the Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams has torn his ACL and is out for the season.
Man.
First-round pick out of TCU, Quentin Johnston, is going to have to step up now. And then Eckler, I think they're going to get Eckler back this week, so it's looking up. They got a big win yesterday. So we got that. Justin Fields and the Bears, awful. They're now 0-3, and Fields said they got to get this thing going. All we need is just one to get this thing going.
Whatever. We need is one.
He said the Lions started 1-6 last year and almost made the playoffs. Just keep that faith. Keep going.
Yeah, well, I got news for you. They're the Lions. They're the Bears. There's a little difference in talent.
That was bad. I saw something today in a I think it was the Chicago Tribune where they grade every offensive and defensive category for the Bears. It was all Fs. It was hilarious. It was funny.
You wonder how long they're going to stick with Eberflus.
Oh, he's about gone. He's about done.
It's close.
Because it feels like that he's lost. We always talk about losing the locker room, but those guys are not playing. I mean, when you think about the Chicago Bears defense, you think about the 85 Bears, you think about the monsters of the Midway. They've always got you think about Brian Urlacher, you think about guys like that.
They have none of that.
They have none of that, and they just gave up yesterday.
Yeah.
That was bad. Also bad, the Jets lost their 15th straight to the Patriots.
Ooh, there was some anger yesterday at MetLife Stadium because the Jets people hate the Patriots. The Patriots hate the Jets. Belichick was the coach of the Jets for 24 hours. Remember the Parcells stuff in the late 90s? There's some real hatred there, and they've basically rubbed the Jets' nose in it for about 8 years. And the Patriots aren't all that good, but poor Zach Wilson. They might as well be playing Kelly.
Well, hey, I promise you, I'd stand in there and complete balls, though. I promise you that.
Then you know what? Let's sign Kelly.
No, I don't. I do not want to get hit like he's getting hit. No thanks.
Well, Matt Ryan says he doesn't want to join the Jets after reports emerged of his interest yesterday.
No, but the obvious that's out there right now is Carson Wentz. And I don't pretend to know.
Colt McCoy as well. But
Colt McCoy. I mean, the Jets are going to have to do something soon.
Do they stick with Wilson? And what do they do?
Well,
I mean,
I don't think you can go the full year like this.
They're probably going to get embarrassed again Sunday night against the Chiefs next week. So maybe that's what it takes. I love how they're in these primetime slots.
Yeah. They about had a mutiny last year with Zach Wilson. And what makes them think this is any different right now? I mean, the fans don't like him. They're going to say all the right things to ESPN and to all the sports stations, but do you really trust what he's doing? And then Ryan Clark was talking about it this morning. It looks in his eyes that he does not want to be out there anymore. Take this away from me. He can go up in a press conference and say that. And I feel bad for him because I've been in situations like that where you lose your confidence. I mean, he has none right now, and he doesn't have one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, at least on the sideline, to kind of help him.
Yeah, and this isn't Lubbock, Texas. This is New York City.
Correct.
Bad place for that.
Another quarterback injury. Derek Carr suffered a sprained AC joint. He'll be out for week 4. Or he hasn't been ruled out yet, but it's looking like he'll be out. So he's week to week right now.
We're all day to day.
We're all day to day. Lastly here, college football. Mizzou has opened as a 14-point favorite over Vandy. We'll get into Vandy a little bit later. Vandy is at Florida in 2 weeks. That's a 3:00 kickoff on the SEC network. Tennessee is opened as an 11.5-point favorite over South Carolina. So that is out there. Neyland at night. That's the revenge factor over Carolina. And then Florida at Kentucky. This is interesting. The Cats are favored by 3 in Lexington on Saturday, 11 a.m. kick. And Mark Stoops was asked by a reporter today. They said, is this a challenge for your fans? Are you worried about them being ready for this early kickoff? He said, I have plenty of faith in Kentucky Nation to get up and pound some beers before the 11 a.m. kickoff. It's a great comment.
By the way, I've learned their cheer. C, there's an A, T, S, Kelly, cats. They got to do it a lot. That
was impressive.
They got bored.
I had started to learn OHIO, that this spelling bee stuff gets really tricky. So, okay, we need to go to a break.
That's it.
And then when we come back, Watson Brown with his weekly Titans analysis. I don't think he's going to say, oh, it's fine. They gained 94 yards of total offense. Hell no, it's not fine. Stay tuned. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. It is time for Watson Brown's weekly Titans analysis with a little help from his friend Kelly Holcomb. Watson, how are you?
Thought we had Watson there.
Okay, well, whether we have him or not, even I can analyze yesterday, dumpster fire. Not good. Watson, how are you?
Never mind.
Okay.
I have to reconnect. You want to watch some Myles Garrett sacks, George?
Sure. What the heck?
Sure.
Go ahead. Show them to us. Oops.
Yeah, I told y'all not to sleep on the Cleveland Browns this year.
Oh,
They're
I know
pretty
it.
good.
They are really good. And we get a nice end zone angle of it. Boom.
Yeah,
Myles Garrett, by the way,
you
had
got
3.5 of these.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, and then you got Zadarius Smith, who went to the Pro Bowl last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the Minnesota Vikings. So they got him through free agency. So they got some guys that can rush the passer like that. That right there before the half, he had no chance. Everybody's saying, we got to throw it away. Well, he had no chance to throw it away. He just got back in his 5-step drop, and he hitched up, and he got hit.
Right. This would be another one of these kind of deals where he really doesn't have any chance whatsoever. The Browns are really good defensively. They're not the only NFL team that's really good defensively. Kelly, I'll start it with this. Right now, is it as simple as good defenses are going to do this to the Titans?
Yeah, George. They've struggled. We've talked about this all offseason and all preseason and up until right now. This offensive line wise, they're struggling really bad. The left tackle had trouble, as you can see. That's when you gotta do some chipping. You can't give a soft edge right there to an unbelievable rusher in Myles Garrett. You have to put somebody over there on top of him and helping the tackle. You got to chip him with a back. You got to get a tight end off and chip, and then he can go out in his route just to kind of slow him down because he couldn't block him yesterday. It's too bad that Skoronski got whatever's going on with him. I guess he had an emergency appendectomy. So hopefully he gets back. But then you got the kid, the Petit Freer, how you say it,
Freer.
Yeah, Freer suspended for the first 6 games. Great that he can come back in the building, but he's not going to help for 3 more weeks. So until they get that line back, I don't know. It could be too late by then. Everybody keeps saying, well, and I've said it too, everything runs through Derrick Henry. Well, that's true, but if he has no blocking, doesn't matter who runs the ball. He's not going to make anything happen.
So Watson Brown now joins us. Watson, it hit me yesterday that until further notice, teams that have good defenses are going to do this to the Titans.
Yeah, George, they are. They've played 2 really good defenses out of 3 and 1 poor one. The Saints are very good on defense, too. It was dominant. I personally feel like, and there's a lot to talk about in this one if we got enough time, but I think they lost this one in the week before the game. When Chubb went down and Deshaun didn't play well the week before, I think they had to change their style and knew they were going to have to for the year, and they went to a lot more of Deshaun Watson type stuff. And he came out of his shell. And then having Swartz as the defensive coordinator, to me, is just huge. He knows that team so well. He crowded the line of scrimmage with 8. The Titans let him. And he penetrated, which I think is a major tough thing on the Titans. And the down linemen were in the backfield on running downs. You're running those flat stretch plays that they love to run, and they hit those gaps and knock them back or came completely clean. I mean, they were hitting Derek sometimes as he was getting the ball. And then I think the third thing during the week is Simmons coming out and talking about Deshaun Watson, and he's undisciplined and he's loose with the ball, and we see this and we're going to take major advantage of this. And you say those things to a whooped dog, and he's a dog. He's a good player. And, man, I'm not sure the whole team didn't rally behind stuff like that. And you could tell they were ready to play. The Titans weren't. And it showed. So all of that to me was during the week. I think they caught the Titans off guard with their no backs, their sideways runs. They ran a lot of sweep type plays, and it just caught the Titans off guard.
Both of you guys and I want both of y'all to talk about this a little bit. Jim Schwartz was available to hire. He had been, I guess you call it an analyst. Hell, I don't know what an analyst does, but that's apparently what he was. And he's a damn good NFL defensive coordinator. And Vrabel elected not to hire him. And I got the feeling yesterday that Jim kind of enjoyed, I don't know if it's revenge, but something, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, they were ready. And I think that the players had that same feel. I've talked about Deshaun Watson, but they got Schwartz because Tennessee didn't keep him. Basically, couldn't keep him. When he had an opportunity to go be a defensive coordinator, he had to either become the coordinator of the Titans or go. And that's what went down. That's what I said. I think a lot of this game was lost during the week. And one of the neatest plays, I've not seen it. I can remember playing Reggie White at Tennessee at Vanderbilt when I was the coordinator in '82 when we beat them, and all we would do is on running plays. If Reggie was to the left, then we ran the play to the right. We just ran opposite him. Yesterday, the only thing I saw the Titans did smart in the game is on their only drive when they're going down to possibly make it 3 points at the half. They were chipping on both sides. They chipped the tight end in and chipped out on one side, and they had the back chipping out on the other side. And it worked. And then they get down to the goal line where it's the last play. You can't throw it inbounds. It's got to be in the end zone or catch a pass and get out of bounds. And they don't chip. They didn't chip at all. They go down the field doing that. They didn't chip, and here comes Garrett around the corner. That was the play of the game, I thought. It just took the life out of the Titans. And there was a play in the third quarter where the Titans came out in the third quarter and started chipping with the tight end and the back on the same side Garrett was. So they knew he always lined up to the right. So they're chipping with the tight end in the back on Garrett. Well, Schwartz gets Garrett to just start running to the other side. And then the Titans tight end in the back would go to the other side. Then Garrett would come back to this side.
And then they got a delay of game.
And the Titans had to call timeout because of it. I mean, it was a day that Schwartz just had them, man. He had them in every kind of way known to man. And I don't know. It's that those things just stuck out to me. I thought the biggest play of the game was the sack and get nothing right before the half. Then come out and get the ball and go out, and I think it was 3 plays and punt. And then it's an 80-yard drive by the Browns. So pretty much that did it, in my opinion, right there.
Kelly, I want to start this one with you. I sort of walked out of watching that yesterday saying, listen, who's kidding who? They're not going to get a full season of Ryan Tannehill if this continues. He is getting beat all to hell, and a bunch of this is not his fault.
Well, absolutely not. It's not his fault. But just like Coach talked about, you've got, and I can remember Tom Moore growing up with him. He would always protect his quarterbacks. And we were talking about that. He was telling me like 65 guys played last year. You cannot not protect the quarterback. And if you're having problems, Watson just talked about it. I mean, they're going down the field chipping, and then once they get down there, they stop. It's just amazing to me. You have to be able to keep your quarterback upright. And he's getting older. He can run, but he's not. He doesn't want to. He's one of those pocket guys that wants to stay in the pocket. So you've got to give him the best opportunity. And if that means putting Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears in the backfield at the same time and then chip the edge before they go out on their pass routes, that's what you got to do. But he has no chance. And y'all were talking about Jim Schwartz. Well, there's nobody on the outside, even DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins can get off the ball. He can make catches, but he's an older guy now. But when you've got an offense that really doesn't scare you going downfield, all these DBs can cover these guys, and then you can bring more than they can protect. And when you don't have any fear of going downfield, then the defensive coordinators can just tee off on you. And that's what's happened up until this point. They played some pretty good defenses. Like New Orleans is a really good defense. The Cleveland Browns, I told y'all not to sleep on them. They're really good. And they did some things yesterday. I was listening to the broadcast about, Kevin Stefanski's not an empty guy. He's not an empty guy, but Deshaun Watson talked him into going empty some. So he's starting to get into that. And it just spreads you out. And he played a lot better than the week before. When he played against the Steelers, he did not play good. And we talked about it on the show. Just didn't seem like the Deshaun Watson of old when he was at Clemson. But he looked pretty good the other day. And I want to ask Watson this, because I've been to this and I've been through this, but just explain this to people. Like, when you know that your offense is really bad and you do not have a chance to win, it starts wearing down on your defense, Coach.
Oh, big time. That's absolutely right. And vice versa. If your defense is really poor and your offense just has to keep scoring, you have to have balance to win, and in all three phases, and you got to play to whatever, Kelly, that day. And the NFL is so crazy. It is so balanced in talent that it's week to week, man. Look at the Cowboys yesterday. My gracious, they've been so dominant with that defense, and then they just stunk yesterday. I mean, the Cardinals went up and down the field, but you're absolutely right. There's a point. I thought I saw the white flag raised after the 20-3 score yesterday, and that you don't see that in Vrabel teams very much at all. And I think what you saw, Kelly, was that the defense just said, "The hell! I mean, there's nothing else we can do, man." I mean, it's still 13-3 before that, and the Titans had done nothing. The Titans have 6 first downs and 94 yards of total offense. I mean, that's unbelievable in the NFL, in my opinion, to be that. But no, I think you're dead on, and I think it just wears on you, and they're going to have to do something. I don't know how in the world you run a tailback-oriented offense like the Titans do. And yesterday, the Browns just said, "The heck with it. We're lining 8 up." You can see all 8 of them in the screen. I mean, they're in there that tight. All 8 of them are in the screen, and we keep trying, and they're penetrating, and we keep trying to hand the ball off. That's when you have to throw the ball in that style of offense. You cannot let them put that many up there and run the ball. You can't. And so they're not capable now. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, George, maybe a little bit they could still do that, but not now. The offensive line is not near good enough, and they've got to let him check and throw a one-on-one pass out there. And Kelly's right; somebody got to win the one-on-one. And I hope Hopkins is hurt with a lower body, something ankle, because I don't see speed there anymore. I see still a great player that can reach up and catch anything, and he knows how to position his body, and he knows how to go up and get it. But I don't see him leaving people. And there's not a lot of speed right now. Moore is the best speed guy they've got, and he's made 2 big plays in two games in a row.
So, guys, let me toss it out here this way. This is Vrabel's deal. He's as close to being a GM as you can be without the title. They talk all this collaborative stuff. Is it time to start questioning what Vrabel is doing? Because he's gotten, for the most part, a free pass, but at times this is getting embarrassing.
Well, it's tough right now to me because they've lost 8 of their last 9?
9 of their last 10, I think it is.
Is it 9 of their last 10? So they got to get through this somehow. I don't know that I would be doing that now, George. I think it's in the back of people's minds, but they got to let this play out here. And I just know the NFL. I know Mike. I've seen it with his teams. I've seen them stink one day and come back the next weekend and play lights out. I've seen them do it. And so let's see what happens as time goes on. The two scary parts of this football team, the start of the year that we were nervous about, man, did it raise its head yesterday. The secondary was awful. I do not understand how we reach out and grab everybody. Just grab them. I mean, it's undisciplined as it can be. In college football, and you've got a deep ball, okay, they grab them because it's 15-yard penalty. In the pro game, they get the ball right there if you grab them. I mean, so make them make a play. We've got to stop. Our hands are just way wild, and to me that creates no confidence in the DBs when they're doing that. And that last touchdown, guys, Kelly, they're in quarters coverage, and I don't know if his quarters read. The inside receiver went to the flat. The outside guy ran a deep post. Nobody goes with him. They both just stand there looking at each other. It was as embarrassing as it gets. And so, George, to me, Mike better get some things straightened out. And I'm starting to see players starting to say things, and I've never seen Mike's players do that.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see players make statements after games, and that's not a good sign.
Kelly, you heard the question. Fill in your blanks there.
Well, I done forgot the question now.
Well, okay. This is Vrabel's deal. Okay. Yeah. He's the head coach, but he's also part GM. This team has been completely put together in his image. And when it was good, it was really good. But right now, it just doesn't feel like they've got the stuff to do this.
Yeah, 9 of 10. Losing 9 out of the last 10 is pretty tough. And I want to reiterate what Coach just talked about, because I can remember seeing Kevin Byard, a former MTSU alumni, right at the last few seconds of the game, they came off, they gave up that touchdown. He was just looking disgusted. And they've got a good defensive line. I mean, I think that's the bright spot. They've got guys that can rush the passer, and when you can get pressure on the quarterback, your DBs ain't got to be great. But if you don't, and if you just give up, like yesterday, it just didn't feel like that they knew they were watching the game. They're watching the game, the defense, when they're sitting on the sideline and they're like 94 yards. Like, we can't cover anybody, and we can't hold anybody if our offense is just going to give 94 yards. So that's the real concerning thing to me, because you've seen Buddy Ryan and the other guy, the Gilbride guy, get into a fight because the offense wasn't doing things and the defense is doing everything. And that stuff happens in a locker room, George. You start picking sides, and winning cures a lot of stuff. But when you're losing and when you're in the rut they're in right now, it's just not good. And I've never seen Mike Vrabel's team like this. I really haven't. And it seemed like yesterday it was a little bit like the Denver Broncos gave up. The Chicago Bears gave up. The Tennessee Titans, I'm not saying they gave up totally, but they didn't look like the Tennessee Titans that we know, that a fight to the end. And Coach just talked about it. I know nobody knows what quarters coverage is, but everybody's got a quarter of the field. But when the number 2 receiver goes flat, that ain't got anything to do with the safety in the corner. I mean, and for them to let Amari Cooper get behind him on a simple post route, usually it's the number 2 receiver running like a hook or an in route to take that safety out, and then you're one-on-one with the quarter. But you just like that's not football right there. And it seemed like they kind of gave up there towards the end. So it's not – I don't know. You can see them guys coming back because they've done it over and over and over again under Mike Vrabel, but I don't know, man. Where the offense is right now, it's hard to get guys to play hard. It really is.
Yeah. Watson, appreciate your taking the time to do this. By the way, congrats to your brother. Great 4-0 start. Hope it continues.
Yep, 2 years in a row. It's 2 years in a row. They've been 4-0, so hopefully they can take it further this go-around.
Did he teach Drake how to throw with the left hand?
No, I don't think that's that was in the game plan, to be very honest. But the kid's amazing.
Turned out
he's the second pick in the draft, I'm telling you.
Yep.
And the first is in Southern California. He's that good. So he's had that one, and Sam Howell. That's been his 2 quarterbacks since he's been in Carolina.
It's pretty good.
He's been pretty good. That's pretty good. Yep.
Watson, thank you. Talk soon.
Okay, guys. Talk to you.
Okay, after the break, we will hear a little bit from Titans head coach Mike Vrabel on what was an embarrassing afternoon in Cleveland.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
So really about all you have to say is 6 first downs, 94 total yards. This is a pile on. Miami had that before the anthem got played yesterday against the Denver Broncos. It's obviously a problem. Mike Vrabel knows it. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, I mean, that's a good football team. Give them credit. You know, I mean, they were much, much better than we were today. Coaching, playing, you know, I mean, the whole bit. And, you know, we contributed to that. You know, there were some things obviously that we did that affected that, but they were They beat us today in every area.
What most went wrong offensively?
Well, just weren't able to get into the drive. We pressure us. And, a lot of guys were on the line of scrimmage, and felt like we wanted to try to get into the line of scrimmage and get downhill. Wanted to try to protect and then throw some shots, but you got to be able to hold up, and just weren't able to get any kind of rhythm, especially in a road environment, a fantastic environment, much like we talked about in New Orleans. Too many third and long opportunities, and then when we did have a drive and got down there, didn't take advantage of when we got the turnover, weren't able to take advantage of the turnover, and then when we got the end of half, where we could have done something and got the ball in the second half, it's just it's frustrating all the way around, but we'll come back.
On the sack before the end of the half, Gillard seemed to be alone on that play. Does the ball then need to come out quickly, or are you expecting him to hold?
Well, yeah, we just have to make sure that we're getting the ball in the end zone. It's an O-zone situation, for everybody. We're trying to score a touchdown, and that's what has to happen. We have to make sure that that the ball gets into the end zone, protect the points right there, and weren't able to do it.
Is that a play you consider doubling Garrett on that play?
Yeah, we consider doubling them a lot. You're trying to score from the 12-yard line. It's hard if you don't get guys out down there in the red zone because of the space. So that's a product of trying to score and hope that the protection hangs up. You keep guys in, and then now you're running a lot of bodies out there in coverage. So we like the call, just need to execute it better, and which I'm sure we will.
From a play calling perspective, how much did what they were able to do up front limit what you guys were able to do as far as play calling?
Well, I think that those things change. We try to get some bodies on them, and the pressure. We got to be able to block pressure, and I don't think they're. They got to be able to make adjustments and understand that this is how they're going to play us. I don't think it was any shock coming in, but we'll get back to work, and we'll figure out what we need to do and how we need to do it.
You've seen Myles Garrett before, Mike, or have you seen him look like that before?
I've watched him a few times. Great player. I just try to move the tight ends around and help them, and he's a fantastic player.
You tend to rely on your pass rush to produce a similar effort. You seem to get.
No, again, in every phase, you can start with me and go all the way down. That's whether it was coaching, whether it's our pass rush, their O-line, their ability to hit some plays down the field, penalties, every category. It's going to be the same thing for each one. It's important for us to stick together. You play like that in this league, you coach like this in this league, you get your ass beat. Plain and simple. We'll be back. We're going to get back to work. I know that it's disappointing, but it's what happens when you perform and coach like that.
You tend to hit that theme after losses. Does it resonate with the staff, with the players?
And you'd have to ask them right when you walk in there. Go ask them, Paul. And what resonates is that we're going to compete, just like we have for a lot of years, and we'll get written off. Which this isn't like some kind of motivational speech. It's just what happens in this league, and we're going to have to come back. We'll have to have a great week of practice, figure out who we have available, and get back to work and figure out a way to win a game at home. And so, point out the things that we need to work on, get them fixed right away, and keep going. It's a long season, but we're focusing on this week.
When the offense struggles like this, do you worry about that affecting the defense?
And I think the defense needs to focus on the defense, and we need to feed off each other. Certainly, we have to play better on offense and coach better. But our job on defense is to go out and play defense wherever we have the ball. Had a lot of opportunities to get off the field on third down. Weren't able to. So, you can maybe try to start that narrative. I don't think that Jeffrey Simmons or Kevin Byard or Danico Autry or Monty Hooker I think they're going to just play defense whenever they have to go out there. That's their job.
Some of you guys in the secondary, those calls, what do you tell Sean Murphy wanting to do instead of that?
Nothing. I mean, I think some of them were holds. Some of them probably, it's judgment. Wanted to play the game aggressively. Wanted to try to, play square, play obviously within the rules. And they saw it another way. They obviously saw it a different way. So that's what I told them. I said, one, I felt, you might have grabbed him. The other one, it doesn't matter what I think.
You pulled Sean halfway through the fourth. Why him? And what?
I didn't. He was removed. He needed to come out of the game. He was being evaluated.
So, Kelly, in the past, Vrabel has had a lot of success when people are about to kind of write him off. That is
Right.
a real strength of his.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, until he gets these offensive line guys back, I don't see where it's there to get it back.
I don't either, George. We know when you're talking about football, it's not the most coolest thing to talk about, but it starts up front on both sides of the ball. It's cooler to be a defensive guy than an offensive lineman, but they're struggling right now. And with Skoronski going down, with the other kid getting suspended for 6 games, that has hurt them tremendously. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they come back. I think the whole AFC South is the Colts are 2-1 now, aren't they? I think they're 2-1.
They sure are.
Everybody else-
I watched their game
Yeah.
yesterday. What a great win in Baltimore! Wow.
Yeah, with their backup quarterback with Gardner Minshew. So they're 2-1. Everybody else is 1-2.
Right,
Yeah, I mean they're 1-2, but it's not out of the realm of what they still got everything in front of them, but they've got to get it turned around and they've got to figure out some stuff offensively. Where if they just got to throw quick routes or if they got to do something, they got to do something different, moving Tannehill around, sprinting him out a little bit, running some neckage or something like that to kind of get him out of the pocket and to have a threat with Derrick Henry or with the Tyjae Spears kid. But what I said earlier, George, I've been on teams like this where you can't get any separation outside. Every time,
Right.
It looks like to me, every time that Ryan Tannehill throws a go route, it's contested coverage. And it's going to be like that for the majority of the time. And he's got to make a perfect throw to get that ball in there. And he did make a couple of perfect throws yesterday. I think the Moore kid dropped, or it might have been Traylon Burks. I can't remember, but had one right in his hands and dropped it. But he was covered well. So I just don't know. I mean, that's what they get paid for. That's what he's getting a lot of money for. And you're right. He has always seemed to pick it up when they seem to be out of the race. And we'll see what happens. But man, 9 out of 10 games, I can't believe that they've lost 9 out of the last 10. And that's definitely setting a trend, George. And they better get it fixed, and they better get it fixed fast.
Okay, after the break, we'll get stat of the day, and then we've got a lot to talk about in the college football world. Stick around. We have plenty more coming.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. Here's my buddy Sam Moran to tell you about a basketball event that's coming just around the corner that you need to attend.
Thank you, George. Stars Basketball Club will be having our nightly fundraising dinner on Tuesday, October 3rd at Brentwood Baptist Church. That's at 7777 Concord Road in Brentwood, Tennessee. We look forward to hosting Coach Jimmy Dykes with ESPN and SEC Network basketball college analysts, as well as Miss Betty Wiseman from Belmont University with other college coaches in attendance. You can go and find out more at starsbasketballclub.com. And we look forward to seeing you Tuesday, October 3rd at 5:30 in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Order your tickets. I'll be there, and I hope you will be as well.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Monday, a Reaction Monday, and boy, do we have a lot to react to around college football after a wild weekend. Definitely the best weekend so far. But first, stat of the day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them up in Shelbyville. Let's see what Matthew has cooked up for us today. C.J. Stroud, big game for him yesterday over the Jags. He has 906 passing yards in his first 3 career games, trailing only Justin Herbert. And what other player for most passing yards through their first 3 career games?
Okay, if I was going to go way back, Kelly, which may be a big mistake, the obvious name to me is Dan Marino. Would you buy that?
I would buy that. Is it an older player, Billy, or a younger player?
Younger.
I figured as much because
I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes, because yesterday he was the fastest to 25,000 yards. He broke that record by, I don't know, a little bit. So I'd have to say Patrick Mahomes.
Let's go with it.
All right, let's see. It's actually Cam Newton.
Wow.
Cam Newton?
I was surprised.
Holy cow.
I was surprised to see this too.
That's wild. I would never have guessed that.
If you think about it, he did have a heck of a start to his rookie year.
I tried to go back, though, on Marino early, who just was indefensible. God,
he was good.
Yeah. Wow, what a question.
Mm-hmm.
We could have played till midnight. I wasn't getting that one.
I wasn't getting that neither.
Okay, are we ready to get into college football?
We are.
Okay. Saturday night, NBC had it all. They had great numbers. Billy, what were they?
They averaged 10.5 million. And that's comparable to the NBA Finals last year, World Series type. I mean, that is a massive number.
So you had 2 heavyweights slugging it out, and a different kind of college football in that it wasn't 40-35, but it was still an incredible game. Notre Dame leading 14-10 very late. Ohio State, as all of you know, has one last crack at it. And this is the play that ultimately...
It's a picture, actually.
Yes,
George.
it is. Well, I can go ahead and tell you what happened. The give is to the tailback touchdown.
Touchdown.
And I remember thinking in that left corner of the picture as I was watching it, how come nobody's there? Well,
because they thought he was going to sprint out again.
This is the picture right here. Look at that left side of the line.
Yeah, I mean,
unreal.
Yeah, and so, we now know what it is. I went to sleep not knowing, but when I woke up the next morning, it was everywhere that, Notre Dame had 10 players on the field. Kelly, in an era where you have the head coach, his assistants, and 46 analysts, how the hell is somebody not yelling from up top to get Marcus Freeman's attention to burn a timeout? I mean, how does that happen?
I have no idea, George, because that's what they should be doing. And if you're a defensive coordinator and you're up in the booth, or if you obviously got offensive and defensive guys up in the booth. So even if it's an offensive guy, you got to say, hey, we only got 10 guys on the field. But it blew my mind because, and I've been around the game for a long time, George. I mean, that's just, I'm not trying to beat on my chest. Yeah, but I knew they were going to run the ball. Like I said, they had 3 seconds left. What gives them the best chance? It's hard when you get inside the 5-yard line. You get inside the 10 or the 15. It's hard to throw the ball down there. You've got to, as a quarterback, you got to create a little bit of time for yourself because guys are not going to be open like they are in the middle of the field. It's just the field gets condensed. There's a lot of bodies down there. It's hard to throw the ball. Well, they tried it on first down. They sprinted him out, and you got 3 seconds left. And it doesn't matter if you sprint him out, if you drop back. This is the last play of the game. So what gives you the best opportunity to win the ball game? And Ryan Day thought that it was to give it to Travion Henderson, I believe, the one that scored? Give it to him.
It was the other guy.
It was the other guy. Okay, yeah. Well, but when you look at the defense right there, they only have 10 guys on the field, but they thought it was going to be a sprint out again. And if you see that picture again, you can see the center and the left guard are going to double up to the nose and the linebacker there, and then you've got the tackle and the tight end. All they got to do is block out. They went right there. That's exactly what they did. So I would be calling timeout. I would just say, hey, they're going to run the football. That gives them a best opportunity. Let's stack everybody in there, and then if they throw the ball and they beat us, that's on me. I'm the head coach. I'll take it. But
Kelly, let me ask you this: don't the players notice that something is amiss?
You should. I mean, as the middle linebacker, he's kind of the quarterback of the defense. He's got to look and say, hey, something's off here. We don't have enough guys.
Does he have – okay, let me ask you this. From that look right there, middle linebacker, does he have the authority? And honestly, I don't know whether Notre Dame had a timeout left.
They did.
I think they had one.
Does he have the authority to call
it? Like if it's going to win you the game, absolutely. I'd be calling it saying, like, Coach, we only got 10 guys on the field. So I don't know. It was just, that right there doesn't look right to me. Like as a football lining up in football formation for my entire life, that just doesn't look right to me. And you've got to sense something in your gut saying, that's not right. Something's off here. Let's call a timeout and see what we can do. But you're right, George. Some of the guys that's got a bird's eye view in the press box needs to be saying, hey, Marcus, we don't have enough guys on the field. Call timeout. I don't know.
I'll say this. I feel really bad for Notre Dame's players. I thought they gave great effort. I thought their defense was as good as it could humanly be against a real powerhouse. Ohio State this is not San Jose State, and nothing against San Jose State. This is a for real machine that Ohio State has. So I feel bad for the players. Ohio State, I thought, did a magnificent job. Nobody has defended Sam Hartman better than Ohio State.
That's because they can get pressure with their front guys. They've always got they've always got guys up front that on the defensive line that can get pressure on the quarterback. So they've always got that. But he kind of took it down the field on the first drive and then the second drive, and then they kind of made some adjustments. But you're right, George. I thought the Notre Dame defense did really well. I mean, I think Ohio State got, and Billy knows this because he's a Notre Dame guy, but I think they got inside the 5 one time. Was it first down and goal? And they went for it on fourth down and didn't get it.
Yeah, in the first half.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge right there. You don't think of Ohio State when they're inside the 5-yard line, they're going in to score the majority of the time. That's just the kind of players they got, the kind of linemen they got. They can bull rush you. They can just line up and play slobber knocker football. And for Notre Dame to be able to withstand that, I thought they were going to win the game. I really did, because that was a huge turn of events in that game, because Ohio State never gets turned down when they're inside the 5-yard line, and Notre Dame did that. But, that was probably the first time that those kids had been in a situation with a top 5 football team like that at their stadium, and it's a different experience, and just didn't come through there at the end. I just do. I said it to begin the show, I do not like when defensive coordinators, when it's 3rd and long, and then you're going to rush 3 guys. It doesn't matter if it's 3rd and long. If you're rushing 3 guys, you got 5 guys, and Ohio State's going to block you. They're going to let the Kyle McCord kid just sit back there, and I don't care who it is. He's a college quarterback. He can find somebody if he's got 5 or 6 or 7 seconds like that. It's just, I don't believe in that. I know what bothers me as a quarterback. You got to get up in guys' face, and you got to rush, and you got to bring pressure. And when you don't do that, you're just calling yourself to lose the ball game, and that's what happened. Yep.
Okay, let's go to Tuscaloosa for a minute. In the first half, first 30 minutes, Ole Miss felt like the better team.
Yep.
I have no idea what Nick Saban said at halftime, but it must have been a doozy, because Alabama came out and looked like the Alabama that Nick Saban has been talking about. Line up, run the football, run over people. And I hesitate to say this because oftentimes it's not fair. But at the end, Ole Miss wanted no part of being there.
Yeah, I text one of my buddies who's a huge Bama fan, and I said, "Looks like y'all got y'all swagger back." That's what it looked like in the second half, George. It really did. They were clicking. In the first half, they got down there. I forget what happened, but they got down on the 1-yard line, and then they had the bad snap, and I'm like, this looks like the bad news Bears. And you're right. They go into halftime, and then they come out a totally different team. They start hustling, running to the football like they always do on defense. Jalen Milroe starts making some throws, making some plays. I still think the guy's got a chance. I really do. He's an unbelievable athlete, and I think they found something in that game, George. I don't know what it is, but they found something. And if you, as a coach and an offensive coordinator, you got to find what your kids can do best, and you got to find what your quarterback can do best. And if you like something that the quarterback doesn't like, well, it's not going to work because he don't believe in it. So you got to figure out what he likes and what he can do. And man, they found something in that second half, and he threw the ball well, and they look like a totally different team. And if they can build off that, they got a lot of winning ahead of them. I would have never thought it, and we'll see, because next week is going to be totally different. But they found something in that second half, and they got the Alabama swagger back. There's no question.
Okay, now let's come back home, and let's talk Vandy for a minute. We're now 5 games into the season, and so we've seen enough football to start to figure out some things. Here's what I've figured out. Other than a punter and a couple of wide receivers, Vandy isn't good at anything. They can't run the ball for squat. Their offensive line can't protect. When he does get protection, A.J. Swan has been underwhelming, not nearly as good as I think everybody hoped he would be. In fairness, Saturday they had some injuries that made some things very difficult on defense. But the fact of the matter is, if you're looking for natural progression, it ain't happening. This team doesn't excel at anything. They're horrible
Yeah, I had high hopes for Clark. I don't know, George. You're right. You said AJ Swan's underwhelming. The whole team's kind of underwhelming. It's kind of amazing. And I look at the quarterbacks, and when you're turning the ball over like he's turning the ball over, I think he had a pick six the other day. You just can't make those kind of mistakes where when you make mistakes, the line of you winning and losing is very narrow, and you can't do things like that. And we've talked about it up front. They're just not good. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to take pressure off guys that are college quarterbacks. There's not many Bryce Youngs in the world that can kind of take it on their own, or a Caleb Williams at USC, or a Drake May at North Carolina. Most guys aren't like that, and you have to help him. And when you can't run the ball, and when play action pass is not effective anymore, you're putting all the onus on the quarterback. And he's a young guy. He's turning the ball over. He's making mistakes. He's not completing passes, and that's where you get beat, George. You know that.
And they're not doing the little things that they have to do. You're at Vanderbilt.
Right.
You're not at Georgia. There were a couple of stupid personal foul penalties that you just can't have. And I think Kentucky had a cornerback, Maxwell Hairston, who had 2 pick sixes that accounted for 84 yards. That's he had the most receiving yards on Vanderbilt's team. I mean, the next highest Vanderbilt receiver had like 40 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, so that tells you where they're at. They're throwing it to the other team. They didn't have as many bad fumble issues, but still the personal foul penalties. So it's like they do one thing right, but they can't do that next thing right. They cannot put it together.
So it appears to me, okay, the whole thought about, bowl eligible, please, this team ain't going bowling.
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
It's over.
But that ended with the UNLV debacle. So they come home and they're down 14-0 before the woman finishes saying, "And the home of the brave." And they're not good enough to overcome that. But they've got some real issues that they've got to figure out. Their offensive line sucks. You can call it whatever you want. They don't run block a lick. They can't pass protect. And this just in, those are the only 2 things an offensive line can do. It's pass block, run block. And they suck at both of them.
Well,
and as long as they suck at both of them, they're not going to get anything done.
And to be fair, and y'all both know this, Vanderbilt will never have a good offensive line. Now, they can have a better offensive line than this, but they're also not doing the things to help negate a bad offensive line. I didn't think a lot of the play call, like getting it out quick, and again, it's hard. It's like Tannehill and the Titans, right? When you're not getting time, it's hard to call anything. I mean, that's what I kept saying to myself against Kentucky. But it was weird, Kelly, when he would get protection, it's like, oh, he's pleasantly surprised. I'm getting protection here, and it's never 2 good things at the same time for Vandy.
Well, the best thing that they've got going is what y'all just talked about, the wide receivers, and they've got to figure out, if you don't have an offensive line, you've got to be able to chip people. You've got to be able to get rid of the ball. You've got to do some RPOs, some things like that to kind of keep those linebackers at bay. But I don't know if they're doing that. So, I'm not in the room. I'm not there. I know y'all watched the game, but it's kind of underwhelming for me, because I had some high hopes for Clark Lee. I want him to do good. I think he's a good dude. I like him. I like what he's doing. He's got to have some help in the administration of getting some kids in, but there's things that you have to do when you're struggling at a certain position or a certain group, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that right now.
No, they've taken, in my mind, a pretty significant step backwards, and that's what's concerning to me.
Well, and you also don't have Mike Wright anymore to kind of bail you out of a lot of these situations behind a bad offensive line. I mean, their offensive line, I think Mike Wright helped negate that.
He might have.
And I think that was a little deceptive. But last year, Ray Davis averaged 19 carries per game and 87 yards. Mike Wright averaged 7 carries per game and 52 yards. So they accounted for 81% of the team's rushing yards. They can't run the ball worth a lick right now. And I think
the tip-off was when they couldn't move UNLV a lick.
Or Hawaii. I mean, it started with Hawaii.
It really did. I mean, Look, they haven't run against anybody other than Alabama A&M, and I kind of throw that out because I don't know what that means or what it doesn't mean.
Yeah. They got to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, they need.
And AJ Swan is hurt. I don't think he looked like he was playing at about 50-60%. So
they need to pull a rabbit out of the hat soon, or there's going to be some discussion. Now, let's get to somewhere positive here. In Florida State's resume in front of a college football bowl committee, they will be able to say, we went to Clemson and won, and we beat the snot out of LSU on a neutral site. Kelly, to me, right now, Florida State could lose a game and still be worthy of getting in.
Yeah, they could. They've had two really good wins, smacked LSU and then go to Clemson. And Jalen Ramsey even tweeted out yesterday they hadn't beaten Clemson since he was in school. So that's been a lot. It's been quite a few years ago. So when you're able to do that, when you're able to go to their place and get that stigma off your back, those are two huge wins, two staple wins for a program that used to be kind of the staple of success. And seems like Mike Norvell has got him back there. Jordan Travis is playing good. Yeah, he's playing good. They've got a really good defense. They got some dudes that can catch it outside. They got some guys that can run. They're not having the struggles that we're talking about with Vanderbilt. There's definitely that's for sure. So they've probably been the most impressive team this year so far to me.
Clemson isn't dead yet, though. I think I learned.
I mean, dead from what?
Well, everybody said Clemson's dead. Dabo's gone. You know, their dynasty is over.
Gone. He's not gone.
They very well could have easily won that game if Klubnik. If Klubnik doesn't. How did he not see it? What did you see on that, Kelly? Is that on him or is that on the offensive line and the protection? I mean, it's not like it was in a split second. The guy, it was a corner blitz, and Klubnik never even glanced to his right.
Because sometimes quarterbacks, when they're young, Billy, they don't see that stuff. When I was young, I didn't see that stuff, and then I'm sitting at these games now, and they're starting to bring guys, and you can tell. I try to tell kids, and I've told my son before, but you can tell by body language when a guy's coming. And then if they're bringing a corner blitz, well, the safety's got to get over top, so he's got to start working his way over. So if you see that. That's why you have to, as a quarterback, you have to scan from right to left the whole field. And sometimes young guys get focused on the play and they get focused on, hey, here's where I'm attacking over here. I'm not worried about over here. Well, you better be worried about over here because you're going to get hit dead in the mouth if you don't change your protection or if you don't tell your back to go get it or if your back's on the other side, you might have to move him. But sometimes you can't block them all. And if that corner's coming, you got to tell the wide out, hey, if he comes, just run a hitch route so I can throw it to you. So you got to work on that stuff. But guys get ultra focused on something and they just forget what they're doing sometimes.
So no doubt Clemson gave a great effort, and with a little bit of luck, they win the game. I'm going to ask this question. In your opinion, is Klubnik going to be the answer?
He's still a young guy, George.
Well, that's why I'm asking it. It's hard to know.
I think he can. Yeah, I think he can. I do. I mean, he's going to – when you're young and everything's not going good, it says a lot about you if you can rise up. I think he's the kind of kid – I watched an interview with him a couple of weeks ago. I think he's the kind of kid that's a hard worker that wants to do good, wants to be great, and I think he can come back from this. You just have to bear down, and you have to get more experience playing. That's what happens. You're going to see when you play for another year or two, you're going to understand. Hey, this is what they do. I mean, they bring corners, they bring pressure. I understand that now. I've got to fix it. I've got to fix it with my protection, or if I can't fix it, they're bringing too many that I can't block. I got to throw a hot route to somebody and get rid of the football. But that's the thing about being a young quarterback, George. It's just it's sometimes it's baptism by fire. I had that when I was in school. I know I was 1AA, but I was a true freshman, and I had that. You know, Coach Robbins and those guys, Coach Donnelly, they kind of sheltered me because I had a really good group. I could turn around and hand it to Joe Campbell, and I had a really good tight end who went to the pros as well. I don't think he made it, but They helped me by calling plays that I knew and I was comfortable with, and that's what you got to do with a young quarterback. But yeah, he can make it. I think he's the guy. I think he's got enough ability that he can do it. But with me saying that, when you go out there on that football field, you got to produce, and you're at a big time Division I college football program that's won a lot of games and won some national championships. And if you're going to keep messing up, then they're going to have to replace you.
Okay, after the break, we'll get Kelly's 1 through 4 if the season stopped today. And then we'll get to my studs and duds of the weekend, none of which I think will exactly shock you. So stay tuned. We're coming back.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hardworking team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, it's time now to release Kelly's 4 if the season ended at this moment in college football. Kelly, let's just run through it. You've got Georgia at number 1, and until somebody beats them,
I don't see how you can disagree with that. But here's what feels different. I think somebody's going to beat them.
They may. I mean, they haven't been overwhelming like they were last year. They're breaking in a new quarterback. Obviously, Stetson Bennett's gone, who meant so much to that program for the last couple of years, and he was a playmaker. The Beck kid is there, but they kind of struggle with South Carolina. But until somebody beats them, they still got all the pieces in place. They still got Brock Bowers. They still got a tremendous defense. They still got all skill positions can run. They got a big offensive line. So, in my opinion, until somebody beats them, they're still number one.
Yeah, and rightfully so. So here's this Florida State bunch that I don't think anybody wants to play because Jordan Travis is electric at quarterback.
And they've got some stud receivers.
Yeah, studs. They got one dude that's 6'7", and then another transfer that they got. So
yeah, that Johnny
playing.
Wilson kid. I mean, those are the two
ridiculous.
best receivers in the country, I think.
Yeah, they're really good. So the reason that they're there, I've had Michigan there, but Michigan has played nobody. And I'm not saying that they won't be in the top four by the end, but they played nobody so far. Florida State's gone into Clemson, beat them. They beat LSU pretty handedly. So
they've
Jordan
earned the
Travis
right to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Travis, Jared Burst, the guy on defense that can rush the passer. They've got a really good defense. So I think they're the total package of everybody right now. And you could easily put them at number one right now, but until somebody beats Georgia, I'm just not going to say that.
Texas has gone to Bama and gotten a win, and the committee will certainly know what that means. Three of the four here have got big-time road wins. Texas is really good. This just in.
Which win is better, Kelly? Texas at Alabama or Ohio State at Notre Dame?
Texas at Alabama. Texas at Alabama.
Think so?
I mean, I do. I just, Notre Dame they've kind of been on the line before, but they're not. I don't know. In recent years, they've kind of dropped off a little bit, but they've got Sam Hartman this year. They're playing good football, and he's kind of the guy that a coach wants because he's confident in his quarterback. But the other night, they deserved to win the game. But you got to give it to Ohio State. I mean, they played and they made the plays at the end of the game when they had to, and that's what great teams do.
So, Kelly, the big question at Ohio State has been if this kid at quarterback is good enough. So now he's got this game-winning deal at the end. What does this do for his confidence?
Huge confidence because you're on a big stage. You're at one of the coolest places in the country to play at Notre Dame, Touchdown Jesus. You're doing it at nighttime. They're dressed, they're dressed in their green, and it's a stadium that is against you. And he played okay during the game, but hey, on that last drive when he had to make the plays, he made the plays, and on the third down and long, when you really got to make a play, he made a play, and I got to. I got to give it to him, but it's also a little bit of what Notre Dame did on defense. I mean, they allowed him to do that. I think when you got a young guy, you got to put pressure on him, see how he can handle it. If he beats you, he beats you. But I'm not just rushing three there in that instance, and he had plenty of time to throw the ball. He threw a strike, so
I don't know about y'all, but I came away really impressed with McCord late in that game.
Look, he was cool when he needed to be
as a young kid. I mean. You're at Notre Dame Stadium under the lights against a pretty damn good Notre Dame defense. I mean, they held you to 10 points up until, and man, I was just that throw, Kelly. You said it. I mean, he had to sit in there. Now Notre Dame didn't bring any pressure. I think that there's a give and take to that, but that throw to Ibuka was really good.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, he played when he had to.
Kelly, are you ready for studs and duds?
Let me see him.
Okay, so stud number one, obvious. Okay, you go to Clemson and win that place with 90,000 breathing down your neck. Enough said. Move on.
And that was a good atmosphere.
Listen, that's a great stadium. I've been in it. It's scary. Same thing with Ohio State. Listen, to be able to find it in them late. When most of the night they really had not gotten a lot done, very impressive that Ohio State could find it when it mattered and get the victory. Number 3.
Hey, Ryan Day talked about it. He was upset about some of the things that have been said about his program. He got that off his chest after the game. That's for sure.
Did he ever?
All you can do is laugh at because he's referring to an 86-year-old man in Lou Holtz who, he's just – what else is he going to say?
What did Lou say?
He basically said Ohio State better bring their lunch pail and get ready, and he talked about how they're not physical enough and they can't compete with Notre Dame, and that's what coaches do, though. I thought it was just funny how that was the motivation, Lou Holtz.
Memo from Marcus Freeman to Lou, shut up. Memo from Lou back to Marcus, count to 11. Okay, so if I'm Lane Kiffin, I can't be very happy with the way my team retreated in the second half. Stud Alabama, dud Ole Miss.
And Lane Kiffin.
Well, they did. They backed down, man, really bad in the second half. They sure did. Yeah, they backed down. Alabama started hitting them in the mouth and playing ball, and they didn't want it.
With all of the great games that were played this weekend, this one got lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Washington State, not exactly Ohio State. That's a big win for them over a really good Oregon State team.
Almost let it get away with them at the end. Good, great. And that Cam Ward kid is really good. He can play.
Listen, he needs an invite to New York.
He really does. If they keep winning, I mean, you never know.
Silly underdog, baby.
Oh,
wow.
You got it.
No wonder we're getting positivity. So, on to the duds. Yes, if you'll walk outside right now and listen to the crowd roar, Miami just scored. That's their 84th point. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was humanly possible for an NFL team in this day and time to score 70.
I wasn't even watching, and I saw it on Twitter. I saw Dolphins put up a 70 burger, and I go, what? What in the world?
If I'm Nathaniel Hackett, not that he's setting the woods on fire, but there's a part of him that'd like to send Sean Payton an email that says, karma is and then you fill in the blank.
Absolutely. I thought about that too when I saw that score, man, those guys just didn't give any effort. But like, how in the world in the NFL can you score 70 points and have 726 yards of offense? You had 2 running backs that had 4 touchdowns each.
I mean, this was not UL Monroe they were playing. This is the Denver Broncos.
And Sean Payton got pissed at one of the reporters after the game. The reporter was real snarky, but brought up this is a historically embarrassing loss, and Payton just goes, "What's the question? What's the question?"
And then he moved on when he didn't get it. Okay, dud number 2. Oh, God, boring,
bad,
boring.
Move on.
They are bad.
Dumpster fire. Michigan State. So since they found out that their coach wasn't their coach, they have gotten the crap kicked out of them 2 weeks in a row at home. Not good.
Yeah, and the lawyer, there's some stuff. The lawyer has fought back, and we might get to that tomorrow's update. But there's more to it.
And then our final dud. Oh yeah,
prime time.
Yeah. Here's the one problem. Okay, and don't get me wrong, he's already done tremendous stuff. This may not be the last pounding because they don't play very good defense.
Their offensive line is Vandy level, though. I mean, Oregon just pummeled them.
Well, yes. Oregon's pretty good, Billy.
Oregon might be close.
Oregon's getting up there too. You know, 5-6 being in the they're pretty good now. I mean, I hate watching Bo Nix, but he's a good player. But I just, I guess I don't like it because I didn't have that ability to do what he does. when he was at Auburn. It used to frustrate me so bad, and I don't get to watch him much because he's at Oregon, but they played good the other day.
What about the quote of the week
Yeah.
from Dan Lanning?
They're fighting
which
for
was,
clicks. We're fighting for wins.
God. I mean, there's something, Kelly, there's something there between Dion and Lanning that we don't know about.
I don't know about that. I mean, it may be, but I thought Dion handled it. He's like, hey, everybody's talking about what their kids were doing and what Oregon's kids were doing. He's like, hey, they beat our brains in. Like they should be doing that stuff. I'm not worried about it. But then he came back and said, you better get me now because you ain't gonna get me later.
Okay, but let me ask you this: if you're Lanning, why, unless there's bad blood there, why would you go down the road of we're fighting for wins, they're fighting for clicks?
Anything to motivate your team.
I guess. I don't know. You might be right. They might have had some running. I just don't see how he's had run-ins with that guy, but I don't know. You might be right, George. We'll see.
I don't know.
Well,
it just seems like
Lanning comes from that Kirby Smart tree where, I don't know if Kirby would have said something like this, but Kirby inside closed doors definitely would. Sanders' antics would have been mentioned, I think.
And I'll say this, Billy. I'm not sure that Colorado's offensive line is as bad as Vandy's. Now, I wouldn't go quite that far.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly, that
they're
was
not great, but like Oregon's really
jailbreak,
good, man. I know, but they're good. I mean, that's just what happened to the Titans yesterday. They ran up against the buzzsaw and the Cleveland Browns, and I mean, sometimes that happens, man.
I don't know if you think of Oregon as a bunch of dominant pass rushers. I mean, they're good, but man, I couldn't
they
believe
might be better. They may be better than any of us know.
Who knows? Yeah. Washington too.
They get. I'm more likely going to go with Oregon
over Washington.
I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the break. Then Plaster bet of the day. And I got to be honest, I don't remember what went on this weekend, and it's possible that the memory loss is because I don't want to know. Stay tuned. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Monday. Speaking of Monday, we've got a Monday night doubleheader tonight. Eagles are in Tampa to play the Buccaneers at 6:15, and then the Rams are in Cincinnati to play the Bengals at 7:15. We'll see if Joe Burrow goes, and that'll obviously play into a potential play tonight. So
we're going to have a little addendum.
We'll see what happens there. But again, Bart Durham presents us Plaster's bet of the day.
So, Kelly, I put out 9 bets on Friday.
Wow. Okay.
4 and 5.
Okay.
Like.
So I had Notre Dame right. I had Florida State right. You can see in red the ones I did not have right. Is that right? Packers was a push.
I'll have to educate Matthew on that.
Yeah, tell him not to.
Yeah, he don't understand the point spread deal.
Anyway, whatever the case, it didn't turn it. The one that pissed me off was Boise. Boise gave up a touchdown late when they were up 30-20 that covered the spread for San Diego State. It was about midnight, and I had gotten back from watching BGA play, and so I wasn't very happy with Boise. So let's get to tonight, and let's start with the one up top. I want to remove that one from the board completely because we're not getting definitive info on Joey B. And until you know one way or the other what that situation is, don't play it because he's the wild card in this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's a good call.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
off the board.
Jake Browning is Cincinnati's backup. Nothing against Jake Browning, but until I know what Burrow's deal is, don't do it. Now, let's go to the other one. I'm taking Philly on the road, and it might not be easy because, Kelly, Baker Mayfield's been better than I thought he'd be.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing well. He's kind of resurrected himself down there, but it's really early in the season, George. You never know what's going to happen. But he's playing a really good Philadelphia team who's got everything you want. They got a really good offensive line. They can smash mouth. They can run Jalen Hurts. He can throw the ball. They've got guys that can rush you. They've got good linebackers and good DBs that can cover guys. So they got a complete team. So it's going to be tough for old Baker tonight.
Couple of things before we leave you. Of course, no doubt tomorrow that Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville, and we'll get ready for what will be Revenge Week because South Carolina comes to town for a Saturday night game, and the Vols want to throw a little payback in there.
Highest ticket price this week. I think tickets are going for as low as $170.
Really?
Right now, yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well, there's always television.
Are you guys going to partake? Are y'all going to go or what?
No, I'm not. No. But I'll be watching. Secondly, our show tomorrow will originate from Trevecca, where they've got a big announcement to make, and we'll, during the 3:00 hour, have some Trevecca people on to talk about what they have done and what it means for their program. Kelly, until then, root on EAGLES.
I'm for the Bucks. I got all my coaches down there. I'm a Todd Bowles guy. I'm for the Bucks. Sorry, George. I'm going against you, but now I've got personal relationships with the guys on the Bucks. So sorry.
What scares me about your philosophy, because it's become very obvious, if there were something in the Olympics where it was United States versus the Soviet Union, and I took the USA.
I'm going to go with you.
I wanted to get that out there.
I'm patriotic. I'm a nationalist. I'm patriotic about our country. So, yeah, I would go with you, George. But when we're talking this stuff, I'm against you, man. I'm sorry. Just is what it is.
What a pathetic attitude. Billy, I'm sorry. In your future, after I'm in a home drooling, I just want you to remember this kind of attitude. Don't be like that.
Billy, if he's in a home, are you going to go visit? Billy, if he's in a home, are you going to go visit him?
We'll think about that. Only if you come with me, Kelly.
No, I'm out, dude. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going. I'm sorry. George, have a good one.
Okay. Dinner at 4:30. See all of you tomorrow.
See you.